Hey guys, this is Matt Ranger, aka VodkaHaze for CardRunners here. Today we're going to be starting a two-part series at mid-stakes heads-up PLO. It's all against the same opponent. A really crazy guy. I'm pretty sure he's recreational, and he started playing me at 200 pounds, which is like 300 PLO, and eventually he tilted and moved up to 400 and 400 euros, where we played 4-table for about 6 hours, and he ended up losing quite a bit to me, about almost 6 figures, I guess. Not 6 figures, sorry, 5 figures. 6 figures would be completely ridiculous at 400 PLO. Part 1 is going to be early in the match, and part 2 is going to be much later in the match. Part 1 starts about 80 hands in, and part 2 starts about 1600 hands into the match. And at the start of both parts, we're going to be doing a fairly extensive stats review to see how we can use stats to interpret our opponent's, game plan or just overall play style, and how we can optimally adapt to it. Obviously 80 hands in is going to be quite a small sample, so we're going to be looking at the stats and seeing what stats we can use to make confident assessments in how he can be playing in a spot, and what stats we can use to make, unconfident. Or we can say he probably plays like this because of a small sample size, and so that we're not going to base hero plays off of those other stats. We're going to get right into this stat review. So this is my extended HUD. It comes from Poker Tracker 4. The first one we're going to look at is attempt to steal of 80. That by itself is just kind of nitty on the button. Most people open more than 90, especially at 100 BB stack sizes. Shallower, obviously, it's better to open less. He hasn't been automatically 3xing. He's actually 2.5xing most of his buttons, 3xing some, and min-opening some. And for a 2.5x strategy, 80 is still a bit tight on the button. And what's weird is that his full blind to steal is 26% over the first 40 big blinds he had. And that's just kind of ridiculous, because that means he plays the same range and position as out of position. Being unpositionally aware like this is usually a sign of a bad player. I mean, some really, really good players defend really loosely on their blind, but that doesn't mean they're unpositional. It's just another level of comprehension of realizing the equity out of the hands you're dealt in your big blind. Whereas when you see someone not fold his big blind and then not open most of his small blinds, he's usually just positionally unaware and kind of looking at his cards and going, oh, I like those, let's put money in the middle. And that's kind of supported by the fact that he 3-bets 36% as of yet. I've never really seen anyone 3-bet more than 30% well at 100 BB stack sizes and deeper. Anyone who's 3-bet more than like 26, 27% has always had some sort of leak, either in how they construct their 3-bet range pre-flop or how they play it post-flop. So, I mean, we can confidently assess if he 3-bets 36 over a 40-hand sample that he probably 3-bets more than 25, and so that he's probably just kind of lag-tardy. He just likes to splash money into the middle. All right, let's get on to the flop stuff. The first one I like to look at is usually bet percentage. I mean, it's usually over bigger samples than c-bet percentage, so we can see 61 is quite high. We're not going to say anything else. C-betting 84%. We're going to look at non-3-bet pots. So he opens 80% on the button and probably c-bets more than 75, because he c-bet 20 out of 24 times. That's 83% over a 24-hand sample. So he probably c-bets more than 75%, and that's almost definitely a leak. I mean, no one knows what the optimal GTO c-bet amount is in heads-up poker, especially PLO, but I guess the optimal c-bet frequency in PLO and Hold'em are fairly similar. No one knows really what it is, but from experience, from my personal experience, it's probably somewhere between like 60 and 70, maybe even 60 and 73. It might be somewhere between 40 and 75, but I've almost never seen anyone c-bet more than 75% without being a leak, and that's myself included. I c-bet more than 75% for a while in my career, and it was a leak of mine, which I promptly corrected in a lot of months ago.